Hello and welcome to another episode of Stairwell Workout with my stairs. And you will also notice that I have a special guest with me today. Everyone say hi, Dusty.
Hey everyone.
Hi, Dusty. So Dusty is my husband. So he also lives in this space and he uses these stairs every day. And today he's going to use these stairs for his workout. And you're going to get to do his workout with him. He is my special guest and he is going to be your substitute coach today. He's going to lead you through a warm-up. He's going to lead you through a workout. You'll notice that there's some very large dumbbells over there. You don't need to have dumbbells or weights or anything like that accessible. But if you do have some like heavy water bottles, heavy milk jugs, if you have dumbbells, that's awesome. You might want to locate something to pick up off the ground. And by the way, it doesn't even really have to be 2 items, does it, Dusty? It could be 1 item that you pick up. So you might go load up a duffel bag with all of your textbooks. So maybe hit pause, go grab a weight, or you can listen to Dusty as he explains the workout, and then get your weight assembled, and you guys can do your workout together. Here we go.
All right. I would call the workout that we're going to do today Midline Madness. Today's workout is really geared towards your core, and your core is more than just your abs. Your core is your abdominals, but also your lower back, your inner, deeper transverse abdominals as well. And so today we are going to tax those areas well through a couple different movements in an EMOM format. So to give you an overview of the workout, we're going to have a simple set of 3 different movements. You're going to be performing what we call Suitcase Deadlift. You're going to be holding a plank, and you're going to be holding a boat. And all 3 of those movements are going to tax your core. So a couple keys before we begin. Anytime you're doing something that requires your core, we want to think very intentionally about stability and bracing of that core. Today's workout is designed to build endurance in your core stability and strength. Our workout today is essentially going to take 24 minutes of time. So that's going to be a lot of time spent in tension in your midline. So one of the things that we're going to start with is by thinking about how we activate your midline. All right? So one of the easiest ways to visually and physically understand how to activate your core is simply by taking your thumbs and finding a position about an inch or 2 above your hip bones, so kind of in this this meaty section of your midsection here, and then we're going to cough. And you can even see in the video that as I cough, it pushes my thumbs out. That's activating the deep transverse abdominis that help brace our core. So next, what I want you to do is I want you to see if you can find that stability without coughing. So I can do that by pressing out. You can see as I press out, my thumbs move, but I can still talk. So I'm able to hold this stability and still breathe and hold a tight core. So that's our first cue today in order to keep your midline safe throughout today's workout. So like I said, we're going to be doing suitcase deadlifts, and we're going to be holding a plank, and then we're going to be holding a boat. And the way the workout is going to go is we are setting up this workout in what's called an EMOM format, or every minute on the minute. And in this case, it will actually be essentially every 3 minutes we'll be performing a set of movements. So, and we're going to do that for 8 rounds. So it's going to be 24 minutes of movement. So every round, we will be performing a set of suitcase deadlifts. I'm going to be doing 7 deadlifts every round, but really the choice is up to you. Maybe based on the weight or based on your current ability. Maybe you'll do 3 deadlifts. Maybe you'll do 5 deadlifts. Maybe you'll do 10 deadlifts if you're strong and your weight is light. The idea is that our set of deadlifts should take no longer than about 30 seconds maximum, all right? After that 30 seconds of deadlifts, or after that set amount of deadlifts that you're doing, for round 1, you're instantly going to go into a plank. And today we're going to utilize our stairs and do an elevated plank. So my feet will actually rest on the stairs, and I'll hold in a high plank off of the stairs. That's modifiable. You could do a plank on the ground. You could even do an assisted plank or a scaled plank by lowering your knees down, and I'll show that in a moment. And what we'll do is you're going to hold that plank for the maximum amount of time up until the 3-minute mark. So for example, If it takes you 30 seconds to do your deadlifts, that means you have a long time to hold that plank up until the 3-minute mark. Then at the 3-minute mark, we're gonna do 7 more deadlifts, or 5 or 3, whatever number you've selected. And then immediately after that next round, we're gonna go to a max boat hold. And a boat, again, we'll be using the stairs, but you can do it on the ground. Boat is simply elevating your feet and kind of balancing on your rear, using the strength of your lower abdominals to hold your feet up off the ground. Again, these are max efforts, and so the idea is that you are holding that posture for the maximum amount of time up until the 3-minute mark, when we'll start our deadlifts again. Now, the reality is you will likely, the duration that you're able to hold those positions will likely shorten over the course of the workout. So don't be surprised if maybe in round 1 you're able to hold that plank for 60, 90 seconds, maybe 2 minutes. And then maybe as we get into the later rounds, you're only able to hold that position for 35 or 40 seconds or even less. And that's kind of the goal today. Again, midline madness, a lot of stability, muscular endurance. But with that in mind, it's really important that as we go through the workout, you maintain great form on your deadlifts throughout the course of the workout. So I don't want you to suffer, or I don't want you to sacrifice, I should say. I don't want you to sacrifice your form on the deadlifts to hold a longer plank, right? So everything should be based on your form. When your form starts to break down, that's when you stop the movement. All right, so let's go over a couple things. I'll start with the deadlift, and we'll warm that up a little bit. So start standing, and we're gonna get in 5 just bends. So arms up overhead, and then exhale, forward fold at the waist. That's 1. Slowly rising up. Arms up overhead, forward fold, hands come down to the ground. That's 2. Arms up overhead, forward fold, hands come down to the ground for 3. Arms up overhead, forward fold, hands come down to the ground. That's 4. Last rep here. And 5. From that position, we're gonna walk out to a high plank. So you can walk your hands out to find a high plank. We're gonna hold plank here just to warm up our midline for a moment. And you can kind of roll around on the balls of your feet, moving the weight in various positions across your shoulders. So today, we're gonna be holding a plank, but it will be elevated, so your feet will be up off the ground. It's really key that you keep your shoulder blades pressed up, and you keep your glutes and quads tight, and that there's no sagging in the hips. We don't want our hips to fall down, arching our spine. We also don't want to create any sort of teepee effect. This transitions the work away from your core, and today's work is meant to be the core. So we're gonna focus on holding a nice straight plank. Like I said, you have variation options. We could lower the knees, but I don't want your knees directly beneath your hips. We want you leaning out and still finding that same tight core position. This would be a modified plank position. Another option for your modified plank position would be to do an elevated plank. You could actually position your hands on the stairs and extend back and find that plank. What that does is it actually limits the weight that is being held up by your body by changing the angle. All right, so plank position. Let's go ahead and get in 10 mountain climbers. So step up, right foot to the right hand. We'll kind of roll into this hip flexor here, just generally warming up our body before we begin our work today. Right foot steps back, left foot steps forward, rolling into this left hip and glute. That's 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we're going to pick up the pace a little bit to get our heart rate going. 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. We can step it forward. We're going to sit into a squat here. Elbows coming in between the knees, pressing out those thighs. You'll notice that my heels are on the ground, and I can actually wiggle my toes in this position because that means the weight is shifted into my heels. I'm sitting back, keeping my chest up nice and high, rather than rounding and collapsing into this position. From this position, we're just going to do a couple twists. So we're going to extend that right arm to the sky. My left hand is coming to my right ankle. Right arm to the sky. And then right hand to left ankle, left arm to the sky. And we'll get in 4 more of these. Right arm to the sky, left arm to the sky. Right arm to the sky, left arm to the sky. Next thing we're going to do from this position is what we would call just like a bootstrap stretch. So hands are going to come down to your feet, and then we're going to elevate our hips, keeping our legs straight. A little bit of a hamstring stretch here. We're going to get in 7 of these. That was 1, 2. You don't have to go all the way to lock out, just till you feel a little stretch. 3. I'm not quite as flexible as Cecily, so these stretches are a little more challenging, and I don't have quite the range of motion that she does, but I go to a place that is challenging for me without comparing to her. And last stretch. And then you can take a seat for a second. So we're going to do some deadlifts today, and one of the things that's really important to remember with deadlifts is what we would call a rigid neutral spine. You want to make sure that your back maintains its straight with a natural curve. So if you notice, every back has what's called a lumbar curve. You've got a little curve in your lower back and possibly a little curve in your upper back. That's totally normal. We just want to maintain that position. So when I say a straight, rigid, neutral spine, I don't mean perfectly straight. I mean maintaining that natural curvature of your back. But what's most important is we don't want to see any rounding of the lower or upper back. And what I'll show you that in myself. So when I'm in a deadlift position, I'll do it on my knees so you can see it. When I'm in a deadlift position, I want my back being nice and straight. I want to make sure that I'm not rounding at any point in the lift in my lower or upper back, right? So nice, straight, rigid, neutral spine. The way I do that is by engaging my lats. So I'm holding the weight, I'm pulling back with these muscles right here, pulling back to engage the spine and pinching the shoulder blades up at the top. So what I want you to do is you're going to find a spot where you're going to do your deadlifts. One of the things that I've done for our workout today, I've grabbed these books to essentially elevate the floor a little bit. I'm using dumbbells, and I know that if I use dumbbells and reach down to the floor, I have a propensity to round my back because the distance is a little further than if I were using a barbell with plates. And so what I'm doing is I'm elevating the floor. This is a great way to scale, and you can elevate the floor as high as you would like to make the movement safer for you. So I've elevated the floor about 4 inches. And so for me, a suitcase deadlift will be taking weight from the ground and tapping it to these books. Weight stays in my midfoot to heel. My butt drops back to initiate the movement. I'm lowering my dumbbells down. I will tap the books, and you'll notice I'm keeping a nice tight core in the midsection, my rigid neutral spine in the back, and then I'm going to go straight up with the weight, and then back down, tapping the weight into standing. We're getting 3 or 4 more of these. And I'm bracing with my breath as well. So you'll notice, you may hear me holding my breath as I lower, and then back to standing. That's one way that I create core tension for the movement. All right, so hopefully you've done a couple air deadlifts. Now I'm going to grab a lighter weight before I go up to my heavier weight for the workout today. These are my 20-pound dumbbells. I'll go through the same thing. Tight core, butt drops back, tapping the weight to the books into standing. 2, 3, 4, and 5. All right, so those are the movements for our workout today, for our deadlift. Now I'm going to show you the plank and the boat. Plank position is going to look like this. Feet on the stairs, arms locked out at the top. You'll notice I'm not going to let my hips sag. They're going to stay high. Core is going to stay engaged. And I'm going to hold that position as long as I can up until that 3-minute mark, and then I'll stop. If my hips start to drop, then my time's over. So that will be our first plank hold. For our second round after our deadlifts, I'm going to hold boat. And the way a boat works is I'm going to find a position for me on the stairs, maybe you on the ground. I'm going to elevate my feet, arms up, and I'm going to hold tension in my lower abdominals, keeping my feet up for as long as I can. So that's the workout. If you want to grab a drink of water, I'm going to do a couple more reps with these heavy deadlifts just to warm up just a bit, and we'll get started. I'm going to time us, but if you have a stopwatch or a timer on your phone, you can also coordinate so you can actually watch the rounds that you're going through. I would also recommend playing some tunes. I'm not playing any music because I want to make sure you can hear me, but if I were you, I would be cranking up the volume for this 24 minutes worth of work today. All right, so here we go. Grabbing my heavier dumbbells. All right, set of 5, just to get the blood flowing a little bit. Okay, quick rest, catch our breath, let that heart rate come down. Again, the test here is of our core stability, muscular endurance, and that is really critical to moving well. But today, critical to your safety is that you maintain proper form throughout the duration of the workout. So if you feel your lower back starting to arch in the deadlifts, maybe take a round off or lower the reps. Or if you feel your hips sagging during the plank, drop a knee. There's no shame in modifying. In fact, it's way better to modify in the middle of the workout than live in regret for the injury that you caused yourself over the coming weeks. All right, here we go. We'll do 8 rounds, 7 reps for me of deadlift, followed by max plank hold, and then we'll do 7 deadlifts, followed by max boat hold, and we'll alternate. So every other round will be those different plank holds for 8 rounds. So essentially you'll do 4 plank holds and 4 boat holds, and then 8 rounds of deadlifts. All right, here we go. Starting in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. All right, that took me about 26 seconds. So here I go, 30 seconds. I'm gonna try to hold this plank until the 3-minute mark. We'll see how that goes. My apologies if I don't talk a lot, because it's hard to talk and hold plank, especially when you are going into the pain cave, which hopefully you'll experience a little bit today. But it should be mental pain, not physical pain. Remember to keep those glutes engaged, quads engaged. Don't allow that midsection to sag. Remember, you can also modify this by knees down or doing this on the floor. All right, I'm a minute 30 in to this first set of 7 deadlifts and max plank hold. I'm definitely feeling it in my core, but I can go longer. 2 minutes in. All right, 2 of 5. So now I'm gonna rest. I get 50 seconds of rest before my next 7 deadlifts. That's gonna be our flow. I do 7, maybe you do 7, maybe you do 10, maybe you do 9, finish under 30 seconds, and then move to whatever plank variation you're using. 30 more seconds of rest here. $15 seconds. Three, 2, 1, go. 7 deadlifts. All right, now for the boat. $3:35, so 35 seconds into this round. Starting to sweat a little bit, which is the goal, right? I also try to remember to breathe. Helps keep my heart rate down. Also make sure that I'm not straining unnecessarily in places where I don't need to strain. Really trying to use those lower abs to elevate these feet. All right, so I made it to 420, so I held that for 45 seconds. Not a super long time. That's a more challenging movement for me. So it means now I get 90 seconds to rest. During my rests, I'm always trying to bring my heart rate back down. One test of fitness is your heart rate recovery time. And your heart rate recovery time is something you could Google, obviously, but it's a way of testing how quickly your heart rate returns to a state of normal after some sort of physical exertion. All right, about 50 more seconds to rest, and then we'll start round 3. One question that comes up when people deadlift is, what do I do with my head? Where do I look? And I always direct people to think about a broomstick running from the base of your spine through your tailbone. And so my head moves with my back. So as I deadlift, my back leans forward, my head comes forward. I try not to unnaturally arch my neck, creating any sort of strain in my neck. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, here we go. Back to the plank. 30 seconds into the round. One thing that I try to do anytime I'm picking the weight up, even as I get into position, try to maintain that tight core, rigid neutral spine, and then even when I finish my set, my last rep coming down, I try to do the same. Most people don't injure their back during deadlifts, actually. Most people injure their back during life. when you are bending over to pick something up, the pacifier that your child dropped, or a pen next to your desk. And what happens is, usually we're not thinking about bracing our core during those moments. And so the little disc in our back are experiencing pressure, sometimes at an angle that is not typical, and they don't have the muscular bracing. And so they give way. And so when we're deadlifting, when you're in the middle of the workout, you're usually prepped and ready to move the weight. But it's often at the end or when we're getting into position. Okay, 7:39. So I held that for minute 9, slowing down a little bit. But as you're getting into position, we're often not thinking about bracing in the same way. So those are usually the most critical moments to think about. Maintaining that core tension, think about pushing those thumbs out, and maintaining that rigid, neutral spine throughout that movement. How are you doing? Is this getting heavy or getting hard, challenging in the midsection? If so, I would say good work. That's the goal. That's what we're trying to do, trying to tax that midline a little bit today. This workout is actually the second time I've done the same programming, and I'll do it 3 more times, once a week for the next 3 weeks, as a part of a goal to rebuild my core. I actually hurt my back about a year ago, ironically performing a deadlift, and I've been trying to build it back. All right, so we're up for the next round in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. To the boat. All right, 9:35. See how long I can hold this. Oh, 10:17. If you're still going, keep going. Don't give up. When I did this the first time, I really crushed. The first plank, I held it the whole time, and then things went downhill from there. So 90 more seconds for me to rest. You in your home may be crushing your boat right now, so don't let me interrupt you. Keep doing your thing. I mentioned that I hurt my back about a year ago, and one of the things that I've intentionally been doing is little rehab type exercises, like what we're doing today. So I'm using 2 55-pound dumbbells, so 110 pounds for my deadlift. And just for point of reference, that may sound heavy or it may not sound heavy, depending upon your fitness practice. For me, this is probably 25% of my, it is about 25% of my 1 rep max. So for me, this is conservative. It is a pretty light weight for me, but it's also not easy because I've taken several months off of deadlifting due to my injury. And so I am slowly rebuilding my core strength. Right now, I could not deadlift 400 pounds like I was able to when I hurt my back. So I'm having to check my ego and lower the weight for me to a point that is safe. 5 seconds. And go. I'm in. Plank hold. Here we go. 30 seconds in. Elevated plank on the stairs. Remember, you can modify at any point, lowering the knees. Like I said, I'm doing this. My fitness plan is to do this 3 more times, once a week for the next 3 weeks. And my goal is to hold plank a little bit longer every time and do a couple more reps. So for example, today I did 7. Next time I'll do 8. Next time I'll do 9, so on and so forth. So I would call that progressive resistance, slowly increasing the weight over the course of time. Whew, these planks are getting spicy. Trying to keep my hips up, not sagging in the midline. Okay. Minute 3 for me on that one, maybe minute 6. You may find that one of these moves is more difficult than the other. For me, the boat seems to be a little more challenging, but the plank is not easy. 60 seconds, another set of deadlifts, and your boat. We're over halfway, so y'all are doing great as we slowly chip away at this work. One of the things that I like to do in my training is pick a workout and repeat it either weekly or monthly or every couple months, and I try to track my effort, output, time, weight, whatever it is. It's just one way to gauge fitness. But you also have to understand that every day is its own day. And so you may be more fit after a month or 2, but maybe you didn't get as good sleep this time as you did the first time you did it. That could affect your time. 5 seconds, 7, and then a boat. And go. Those are getting harder, for sure. Here we go. At the 40-second mark. You'll notice, as I was setting those dumbbells down, I rested a little bit longer after my deadlifts before I moved and set them down. I can tell I'm getting more tired. I want to make sure that my core is braced anytime I'm moving the weight. So I don't want to give up core stability to just drop the weight. I try to stay mentally and physically engaged until that weight is on the ground. Whew. All right. So I think I hit 41 seconds that time. So I think we got 1, 2 more rounds, if my math is correct. I always get that screwed up. 0, 3, 6, 9, 12, 15, 18, 21. Yep. So 2 more rounds. How are you feeling? After this workout, I will drink a big glass of water. It's about lunchtime. It's 10:45, so I'll eat a big lunch. I'm a big power nap fan. During these COVID times, working from home, I get my work done because there's so many more hours in the day. So I will catch a power nap. Could be 15 minutes, could be 30 minutes, sitting in the chair, laying down on the floor, wherever. And that's been really great for me. Cecily doesn't nap. She hates napping. So she has this insane output ability that I envy. 10 seconds, 7 deadlifts, max plank hold. 3, 2, 1, go. Here we go. My planking ability is getting worse. Started at the 45-second mark this time. I'm curious if anyone has been able to hold their plank the entire time, every round. That would be incredibly impressive. I was seeing that a few years ago, the max plank hold was like 4 or 6 hours or something like that. Something just insane. So much discipline, effort, mental strength, and obviously maybe a little bit of core strength, maybe. Just a little. All right. See if I can go at least a minute here. Whew. Here we go. That's the minute mark. Okay. So minute 8 for that round. Okay, 60 seconds. Then we have our last round of deadlifts, last boat. So I want you to maintain focus in your last round of deadlifts. Tight core. This is not the round to rush on your deadlifts, but it is the round to give everything you have, every possible ounce of energy, core strength that you have in your boat position. So for me, I'll be intentional with my deadlifts. I'll take my time, make sure that I'm braced, and then I'll give it everything I've got in my boat. 9 seconds. Here we go. Last round. 3, 2, 1, go. I think that was 7. Hope I didn't lose count. Just thinking about bracing, not counting. All right. So here we go. Last round of boat. I know I'm not going to have 2 minutes of boat, so a little more rest and then max effort in 5 seconds. 3, 2, 1, go. Oh. Don't let your heels drop. Try to keep mine up. Remember to breathe. And think happy thoughts. Think positive thoughts. It's a beautiful day in Malibu. Probably 85 degrees, sunny, light breeze, perfect beach weather, or indoor stairwell training weather. Both legs are starting to shake. Here we go. I'm 45 seconds in. Can I make it to a minute? I think I can. I think I can go a little bit farther. I know I can go a little bit farther than a minute. All day. I do this all day. Actually, I don't even need to eat lunch because I'm going to be planking. Oh, okay. Minute 4 for my last boat. Minute 4. I'm happy with that effort, but you'll notice I didn't say I'm happy with that time because I'm happy with the effort. And if you do the best that you can for the day, your weight doesn't matter, your score doesn't matter, your time doesn't matter, your effort matters. So I hope that's something that you take away with you after today's workout. That the numbers, the metrics are not as relevant to your life as your effort. Can you approach today? Can you approach tomorrow and go max effort in the areas that you need and desire to go max effort in? And can you give yourself grace for the areas that you are resting? So I just did max effort. Now I'm going to rest. I'm going to drink some water, have some lunch, power nap, and then finish the rest of my day at work. Thanks for working out with me. I hope that you enjoyed the Midline Madness workout today, and Cecily will be back with you next time.